Red Ant Soldier here. Too good to be in that one. I'll put the Red Ant Soldier, happily put the Red Ant Soldier in E as well. It is probably better than some of them, but there is no way it is as good. Actually, it is quite good. Does it go in? No, it can't go in the 1-up. It's not that good to be in there. I'd say, no, it's there. I'm putting it in E. It is staying in E. Red Ant Soldier is in E, just above its fellow compadre, the Red Ant Worker. Another little robot now. It is the Rusty, and it is terrible, making it into the bottom tier. Congratulations, being in tier F. Spiderling, little Spiderling here again. Pretty crap. Another tier F. There we go. You're down there with all of these other terrible creatures. That's what I mean, like the normal... They're not that different, to be fair. The Whittling and the Spiderling aren't actually that different. Would I put the Whittling up there? Potentially. But I think they're pretty crap, so I'm going to leave it down there. We have the Spiny Water Flea, not to be confused with a regular Water Flea. Spiny Water Flea, they're okay. They're pretty crap. I would say there's no way they're as good as these. I would just chuck them down there, to be honest. They're pretty... They're annoying if you're in the water, but they're not that bad. I'd put them in Group E, even though they probably have a lot more health than some of the others. But yeah, there you go. Sit there. Got the big old stinker here. Big old stinker. I'd put the stink bug down there. Once you've got a gas mask, they're pretty crap. Stink bug can stay in there. Yeah, they're pretty terrible once you get past the whole gas aspect of them. Got a little Tase T boy here. Tase T, you can go in the bottom tier because you're terrible as well. Sorry, the little robots are just crap. They just go in there. I know the Rusty's worse than the Tase T, but they're still both shit. We got the Termite King! Woohoo! Termite King! Yeah! Termite King! Woo! I think he should be a boss, you know? I think he's good. He's a bit of a brute, and his knockout blow... Health-wise, I know he has similar to less health than these, but I've seen him kill a boss. He's killed a boss, for Christ's sake, and he should be considered a boss, and I'm putting him in there with the bosses. I'm sorry, he's good. He's a pretty decent creature. I think it's sacrilege. It's unfair to put him with these absolute scrubs. So I'm going to put him up there in the boss tier where he rightfully should be. Now, his brethren, the Termite Soldier, they're better than the Fire Ants. I've seen them in a fight against Fire Ants, and they beat them. So I would... Oh, it's a tough one, actually. I kind of want to put... No, I'm going to put these up here. Termite Soldiers, definitely in Group B. They are very tanky. I'm running out of space in Group B now, so it's getting a bit crazy. And then you got the regular Termite Worker, which has to be just one below. So I'll put that there. So we got little Tick Boy here. I would put him up there, because I think he's a little... I guess he's a little bit better than the Dust Mite. They don't fight each other, so it's kind of hard to tell. I'd say they're on a par. They're pretty easy to kill. Like, they got the lifesteal thing, which is pretty OP, which makes me want to put them up there. But there's no way they're better. They would get ruined by any of these creatures. And they're not that... Like, they pack a punch, but they're not that difficult to kill once you get around with them. Like, their whole... At least with the Dust Mite, they do like a ranged attack as well, which is damaging. Whereas these are just like a tougher mite. You can just like dodge around them pretty easy. So I'm gonna shove them in C. Then we got the Tiger Mosquito here as well. I will probably... He's good, but he's not that good. I'll probably put him as well there into C with the rest of them. Regular Water Flea, again, trashy. It's not as good as the Spiny, so you can go down there in tier 1. And then last on the list before we get onto bosses is obviously the Wolf Spider. The Wolf Spider is going to go here. Better than the Orb Weaver, not as good as the Infected, so it can go there and finish off Group C. That's pretty good so far. Now we move on to the bosses. First up is going to be the Assistant Manager. Here he is. Here's your boy. It's the Assistant Manager. Look at him there in all his might and glory. Something that's come to my attention recently is they've nerfed him. 100% they've nerfed him. Because before I went away traveling, he was pretty tanky. He had a lot of health. He was quite hard to kill. He would stand up there with the bosses and be pretty good. But I think now that they've edited it with a new release, you need the Assistant Manager card to do some of the early stuff, and you need it to get into like a location in Burgle's lab. And for that reason, I think they've nerfed it, so it's one of the first bosses you face. And yeah, his health just doesn't stand up. His health is more similar to these creatures here. It's less than some of these creatures now here. And for that reason, I don't consider him a boss anymore. I did but I don't think he is. Without his lasers and stuff like that, even with his lasers, his health is still pretty crap. And for that reason, I'm putting him in B tier, away from these two. Now, we'll do the Mantis next. This isn't necessarily in order. As much as I want to put the Mantis up there, because it is an absolute beast. It really is just an absolute tank. Like, it's quick, it's strong, there's no getting away from it. It will just find you. It is lock on distance as well. I don't want to put it in S because it's not as good as the fish, obviously. To be honest, if I had a choice between facing him or the fish, I'd probably face the fish. You know what? I'm going to put him up there. I'm going to put him in S tier because he is good. I was going to leave that just for the fish only because he can't be killed. But I can run away from the fish. I can't really want to run away from the Mantis very well if it's in like an open area. The Mant's a bit of a tank. It has a fair bit of health, but from seeing it fight, it's so slow. It's easy to run around, and it just like wanders off sometimes and doesn't even like focus onto what it's actually doing. So I'm going to put him in A down here with these guys. Director Schmector as well. I wouldn't say... it's a tough one because he has a lot of health and he does do a fair bit of damage. He is like the main boss of it all. But, I mean, his health, he has more health. I'm going to have to put him up there. He is quite quick as well, actually. For a robot, compared to the assistant manager, he's very fast. He does a hell of a lot of damage. And he has the most health, obviously, aside from the fish that pretty much has no health because it can't be killed. It has more than the Mantis as well. And it is a good boss, especially when it has like its lasers and stuff like that, and what it can spawn in its ORC bugs, which I have the ORC bugs, but the ORC bugs are only like a tiny little bit better than their original ones, so they'd probably be in the same sort of category. And then finally, here we have the OG scary boss, the Broodmother, which obviously is not as good as it used to be, so it will fall just below into Group A. And there we have it. That is everything. That is everything, anything that is hostile or aggressive put into a tier list. I don't think that's too bad. Obviously, you guys are going to have different ideas on what you think should be where, but leave it in the comments below. I'll read it. I'm not going to change it and update it, but you can do with this. You can do with this as you will. Change it around. Comment what you would have put where. The only one I'm not too sure on right now. If there were more sections, I would have probably put some sections in between for some of these creatures because some are better than others. Like in Group B, there are some here that are better than others. The same in C. In E, for instance. F, I might have taken the Black Widow out and put the Black Widow in there or something like that. But for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, go and check out some of our other videos. Like I said, the only reason why I'm pretty knowledgeable on this is the fact that I do a lot of bug battle videos, so I get to see how strong the bugs are against something that isn't human. So obviously, without all of my gear upgraded, it's against other bugs, so I get to see which one is stronger. Go and check that out, like the World Cup and stuff like that. Also, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to this video. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you and goodbye!